Proudly brought to you by Mutual and Federal.
The 28th annual Mutual and Federal Universities boat race took place on the Kowie River in the beautiful Eastern Cape coastal town of Port Alfred. The weekend is as much a sporting contest that brings together the best student rowers in the country as it is about enjoying the camaraderie and spirit that goes with being a student. The Mutual and Federal Universities boat race is a perfect mix of elite sport and social interaction. The start is at Rabbit Rocks for the men and Centenary Park for the women, a straight section through Bell's Reach, followed by left turn at Briley's Bog, the Bay of Biscay, and then the go for home to Port Alfred River and Ski Boat Club.
We've been a part of this universities boat race for 8 years now. It's been 8 wonderful years. It means a great deal to us, and in those years we've seen, growth in the stature of this event. From the number of participants that have increased over time to the number of categories that we've introduced. One thing that pleases us as a sponsor is that there's a novice category that has been introduced, which is good for the sport. So people who have actually not taken up rowing before have got an opportunity to take part in this event. So it's been a wonderful association that we've had with the university's boat race.
After heads races on Thursday to determine ranking positions, the crews rowed finals on this Saturday, while supporters and friends enjoyed the party atmosphere on the banks of the Kowie River. Down at the women's start point, the flag was about to drop for the first of the women's A finals, in which the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University A crew were up against the University of KwaZulu-Natal A and the Fort Hare University A crew. Trouble early on for the NMMU crews. They run aground trying to make up time on the inside. The tide's still quite low at this stage. The KZN8 were thus able to pass the stricken Eastern Cape rowers and take the lead. Desperate times for the NMMU crew. Whilst the University of KZN just charged ahead. And they came home to win in 16 minutes, 43.54 seconds to take 7th overall. Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University A were a minute back in 8th and University of Fort Hare in 9th place. The race for 5th and 6th places pitted the two Western Cape rivals against one another, the University of Cape Town on the inside and the University of Stellenbosch. It was tight for the first 2Ks before UCT put in a concerted push to open up a gap on the Marties. They were unable to close it. Plenty of support for UCT on the banks. And the UCT crew won going away by over 2 minutes. Under the last of the bridges, finishing in 16 minutes, 40.38 seconds. While the Rhodes B crew prepared for the A final of the B division against University of Johannesburg, UCT celebrated their 5th position. On the river, Rhodes B were in the lead against UJB. Rhodes had clocked an impressive time of 15.5 minutes in Thursday's heads race. And while they were not quite as fast in the final, they were always in control. They headed under the new bridge to the roar of their supporters, and local support, of course, because this is Rhodes' home water. Rhodes B had opened up a lead of 1 minute and 20 seconds. And they came smoothly to the finish, with the cheers of their supporters, taking the honours in the A final of the B division in 17 minutes, 48.39 seconds. UJB finished in 19 minutes and 10 seconds. Back down the Kowie River, which was now quite choppy due to the wind, the universities of Johannesburg and University of Pretoria were involved in a titanic battle over the twisting 4-kilometre-long course for 3rd place. UJ on the far bank put in a tremendous mid-race push. Tuckies were feeling the pressure and were soon trailing by a couple of boat lengths. And at the finish, it was UJ who prevailed. They stopped the clock at 16 minutes, 6.3 seconds, just 49 seconds ahead of the brave Tuckies A crew.
There are many parallels between running a business in South Africa and across the world with rowing. And in rowing, equally, the guys have to spend inordinate amounts of time preparing and planning, understanding the various skills of the team members, understanding their competitors and how they're going to beat them in the race. There's a lot of passion from the participants. There's a lot of passion, from the organizers, and that augurs very well for the race and the event going forward. Oh, that's great. I mean, Wits is my alma mater, like you say, and I'm rooting for Wits all the way. Yeah, hope they win.
Let's have a look at that final. Here's commentator Sean Kerr.
And leading the Rhodes crew down the course this afternoon, Kate Munich. Sitting behind her at 7, Jacqueline Stevenson. Ladies captain sitting at 6, Alex van Besseau. Behind her at 5, Machine Thornycroft. And at 4, Roxanne Zeisberger. Sitting at 3 this afternoon, Rebecca Pedersen. Tala Walraven sitting at 2 this afternoon. And in the bar seat, Sarah Fisher-Hill. Driving this crew down the course this afternoon, Kirsty Lee Kiff in the cox's seat.
I don't think they expect anything less than a win, being Rhodes and with their reputation down here, their history, so they've been very amped to make it happen, put in the training, so we'll see what happens.
And leading the Wits ladies down the course this afternoon, Samantha Derek. In the 7th seat behind her, Taryn Wright. Sitting at 6, Helen Jervis. In the number 5 seat, Georgina Westcott. Claudia Hazelwood sitting at 4. Ruth Aldert sitting at 3. In the number 2 seat, Tiffany Ronaldo, ladies captain. And in the bow, Meredith Stevens. Bringing this crew down the course this afternoon, Bronwyn Jackson. Bronwyn, a very experienced cox on this course.
Yeah, the Wits girls have worked hard for this. We had a good head race on Thursday. Probably not their ultimate cruising speed, so we're hoping that there's an extra gear. But they've worked hard, sacrificed a lot in the last 3 months, training. So we've done as much as we can do, and the Rhodes girls won't be an easy race. They'll definitely come at us hard, and we're hoping they do, and we hope we can respond to that.
So down on the course, 4.5 kilometres up the river, Wits and Rhodes line up, and as the red flag drops, away they go out of the start. Very good start here for Rhodes as they come out of the blocks. See the coxes already fighting for their water on the river. Rhodes really coming out of the blocks quite quickly here this afternoon. We see already 3/4 of a length up in this, the A final of the women's race. Rhodes in the purple on the far side of your screen. Off to a flying start here, almost a length up as they come through the first straight. And Rhodes really having moved away, but Wits now starting to find their rhythm. Quite a lot of experience in this Rhodes boat, 4 of the ladies having raced in the UK earlier on in the year. Quite a good result for the ladies from Rhodes in the UK. And here we see them leading the A final of the women's race down in Port Alfred. Almost a length in it now as Rhodes come up to the first corner. Rhodes have the advantage of the first corner. And we see as the camera pans across that Wits have come right back at Rhodes in the straight. Rhodes do have the advantage of the inside corner, still with almost 3/4 of a length lead as they come up to the first corner. These corners on this river quite tough for the coxes to get around. Bronwyn Jackson driving here the Wits boat. A lot of experience on this river, and you see having moved her crew right up so that she doesn't get left behind in this first corner. What exciting racing here the ladies have, neck and neck as they come around the first corner. Rhodes with the advantage on this inside corner, but still nothing to tell these two crews apart at the moment. There you see the umpires and the flotilla behind the race, but there's really nothing to tell, and the cox is now fighting for their water on the river, trying to find the fast water. The Wits crew rating at 33 strokes a minute. compared to Rhodes' 32. Very little to tell between these two crews as they come around into the Bay of Biscay. There we see a lot of support all the way down the river, and what a great shot that is of the crews coming down the bay. Slightly more efficient in the water, Wits are, as they come through the bay, starting to move through Rhodes, 3/4 of a length in it now. With about 4 minutes of racing left, still with contact, Rhodes, not having given up. This is one of the closest finals we've had in the ladies' event for quite some time. Both coxes trying to get every ounce of energy out of their crews. Wits still in the lead by 3/4 of a length, and also have the advantage now of the inside of the corner. So if you remember, this is a repeat of last year's final. Rhodes were leading at this stage last year. Different result this year. Wits going around the corner now. Rhodes will have to work exceptionally hard to stay in contact as Wits take the inside of the corner. A very neat looking Wits crew coming around into the final straight. And in the background you can hear the home support for Rhodes University. Now almost 2 lengths up of Wits, but it's not over, and Rhodes will have the home advantage. You see the Cox's hand up there as they come around the corner. The Cox has the opportunity to appeal to the umpire if she believes that Wits are in her water, but well clear of Wits and lining themselves up for the finish line now as they've gone through the final corner and making their way down to the finish line. Wits now 2.5 lengths up and looking neat and tidy. Rhodes not having given up though. You see how hard the Rhodes ladies are working here. The Cox still motivating, still trying to get every ounce of energy out of her crew. Just see Wits there in the background. Lots of home support here for Rhodes as they come down the final straight. Port Alfred, the home of Rhodes rowing, and there'll be a lot of support out here trying to edge their crews on. What a great shot there of the bridge on the Kowie River as Wits shoot the bridge, nearly 3 lengths up now. Wits can smell that finish line. Rhodes will know they'll have to work exceptionally hard if they want to come back at them now. But this is Wits' race. Rhodes the defending champions. Wits were obviously in this position last year and put in a lot of work over the winter, and it's paying off, as we can see. Almost 4 lengths now as they come up to the final bridge. An impressive win here for Wits University, still looking very neat. There you have the crowd edging their crew on. Purple and white on the bank. Rhodes have all the support. Rhodes love seeing their crews in the final, and the Rhodes ladies have done well to race in this final this afternoon. But coming through the line now, Wits, a very neat looking Wits crew. Lots of support there on the banks, and as they come up there you hear the hooter. An elated Wits crew as they cross the line. Some 4 lengths ahead of Rhodes. Wits Rhodes final last year. Wits have come back again in 2008 and managed to pull it off.
I feel ecstatic. I feel like all the work that we've put in has really paid off, and I'm so proud for Wits, and I'm proud to be a Witsie. And yeah, it's a very high moment in my life that I think I'm going to remember and use for the rest of my life. If I can do this, I can do anything.
So the Wits crew collect the Isis Blade once again, having been the first winners 20 years ago. Rhodes winners last year had to settle for second. UJ third, followed by Tuckies, UCT, Marties, KZN and NMMU. The men's finals took place on Saturday afternoon. While some were preparing for the races on the river, others taking it easy in the water. The start at Rabbit Rocks, 2 kilometres further downstream than the women's start. The defending champions Rhodes A, the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University A crew, and the UCT A8. They were all racing for 5th to 7th place overall. It was clear from early on that the Rhodes crew were going to be difficult to beat. They clocked 18 minutes 18 seconds in the head race on Thursday and were looking strong in this final. UJ supporters preparing for things later in the day, perhaps. NMMU were just a second slower than Rhodes on Thursday, but were trailing in this final. UCT on the port bank were just trying to stay in touch with the other 2 boats, but it was Rhodes who came home to take 5th place. Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University A were 6th and UCT in 7th place. The final of the B division pitted Stellenbosch University B against the second string from the University of Johannesburg. And the Marties in the maroon and gold strip were in control from halfway. Very composed rowing from Stellenbosch University. UJ under pressure. Having to work extremely hard to stay in touch. But it was Stellenbosch University under the bridge, and they were heading for home. The Marties clocked 20 minutes 45.52 seconds in winning the B division final. UJ were just 27 seconds behind them, but much to celebrate on the banks and in the water. "20 minutes and 45 seconds, the B division winners, Marties." Back to the A finals, and the race for third and fourth place was an encounter between two traditional rivals from north and south, University of Pretoria and Marties' A crew. And Tukkies started very, very well indeed, followed by a flotilla of officials and supporters, no doubt. Tukkies' great start saw them power away from Rabbit Rocks. By the time they got to the ladies' start, that lead was nearly 5 lengths. Stellenbosch were almost content now, realizing that the race was beyond them bar an accident to Tukkies. Plenty of support on the banks, though. As they headed towards the last of the bridges, it was Tukkies who emerged under that new bridge with a handy lead to claim third place in 20 minutes 10.94 seconds. Third place at the Mutual and Federal Universities boat race to Pretoria University's A8. The Marties fought back well over the second half of the race. They finished just 25 seconds back to claim fourth place. Meanwhile, the Wits A men were preparing for the final. They were up against their Johannesburg rivals, the University of Johannesburg. UJ crew last won this race back in 2005. They were third last year. Let's get to know them and the Wits crew with commentator Sean Kerr.
So, leading the UJ men down the river this afternoon, Graham Hood, men's captain. At the 7th seat, Carl Thompson. Sitting at 6 this afternoon, Peter Lambert. In the 5th seat, Matthew Gertenbach. And at 4, Lloyd Bemmelman. Sitting at 3 this afternoon, Andrew Stockwell. In the 2 seat, Michael Sillier. And in the bow, Darren Ruff. Lots of experience in this UJ crew. Driving them this afternoon, Bianca Crankshaw.
I think we've got a good chance of winning. I know the time maybe perhaps doesn't indicate that, but one-on-one racing is, as I said, is a different proposition to sitting in a head race where crews are not in isolation and are not driven by a crew next to them. So I feel the guys have got another gear to go, and I'm looking forward to the race.
So let's meet the neighbours in Johannesburg. In the stroke seat, Brett Pachnik. In the number 7 seat, Bradley DeJager. President of the Wits Club, Anthony Lester. At 5, with lots of experience, having raced for Rhodes before, Alex Cruikshanks. In the 4 seat, Bruce Morris. Men's captain sitting at number 3, Simon Spooner. At 2, BJ Mulder. And in the bow seat, the lightweight, Andrew Polasek. New to boat race, but lots of experience, Conan Riebling. I think the guys have put in a lot of work this year. Obviously, they toured to the UK in July this year, so it's been quite a long season for them. I think a win at boat race will be the culmination of a very good season for the Wits men side of the club. Yeah, looking for a win today. Should be a good race. So, all the way back up to the start, 6.5 kilometers. And you hear the go, on board with the cocks. Great shot of the blade as they come off the start there. Very little to tell between the UJ and the Wits crew. Both these crews will come out of the start in excess of 40 strokes a minute. Great shot that of the UJ crew having just come out of the start. But Wits now starting to settle into a very strong, neat rhythm, and we see that working for them as they take almost 3/4 of a length from the start. Both these crews very, very experienced. We heard a little earlier the Wits crew having toured to the UK this year, making it quite a long season for the Wits guys, but they've also managed to keep going through the winter. Great shot there from the helicopter as we see these crews now both settling down into a rhythm, making their way down to the ladies' start. The men's race, 2 kilometers longer than the women's race. So quite a long way for these guys to make their way down the Kowie River. Still in contact are UJ, having had the inside of the long bend through that first straight. On board now with the cocks of the UJ boat. Motivating her crew to stay in contact. Two very different rowing styles here from Wits and UJ. Wits crew having spent a lot of time together this year, and you see it there, very together. Lots of yellow support on the banks. That is the Wits supporters. Through the ladies' corner now. If that looks familiar to you, that is the ladies' corner. The orange and black of UJ. Making their way down from Johannesburg for this event. Back on board with Bianca, motivating her crew.
Let's set up on the leg. Yes.
And we saw the UJ stroke just looking over his shoulder just to see how far ahead Wits are. And not much in it, only a length. The Wits cocks taking a really tight corner through that ladies' corner. We see the UJ cocks going slightly wide, trying to stay out of the rough water that Wits have thrown up.
Come on! Squeeze it hard, yes! Come on, boys, send it back, Alfred, send it back! Send it to me, yes! Nice! Squeeze it through!
Lots of motivation there from the UJ cocks. Wits now having taken almost 3 lengths in the last 2 minutes. Very neat, very together here. The Wits crew now at 33 strokes a minute. 33, quite a comfortable rate for this event, but they are 4 lengths up, so are able to respond to any pressure or threat that UJ poses. By comparison, the UJ crew, 36 strokes a minute. So there you see the difference in rate. Rate being the number of strokes per minute, just trying to get themselves back on par with Wits. But this is a real impressive performance here from Wits as they come through the second corner. The cocks now having the freedom of the river, not having to steer around any crews, and there you see the supporters lined up down the banks.
This is a short corner! You give it to all now!
Bianca still trying to get everything out of her crew. Through the Bay of Biscay now, both crews can start to smell the finish line. Coming around the corner, there'll be lots of noise here from all the supporters, with about 3 minutes to go in this race. This race is the same distance as the Oxford and Cambridge race, so it really is a good comparison for our South African universities. There we see Conan trying to shoot the bridge. What a great shot again down the blade as they go through the bridge, Wits. Oh, the tired-looking UJ crew, they know they're going to have to pull something special out of the bag if they want to make some contact with Wits. Outgoing tide, so quite quick conditions, and just to the left of your screen, someone jumping off the bridge into the water. Students coming down and having a good afternoon here in Port Alfred on the Kowie River. But it is Wits as they come through the bridge. Well clear of roads. Conan shaking his fist as they come through the line. He knows he's got it. His crew need to hang on to that blade for a couple more strokes before they can celebrate. And there you have it as they go through the line. An elated Wits crew. Quite easy in the end there for Wits. But as Gareth said in his pre-race interview, one-on-one racing is a very, very different event to the head race which took place on Thursday. And there you see the pain of losing.
No, thanks. It was actually an amazing race. We got it out the start and just hung on and just pushed away. Got taught a lesson in the UK and now we came to teach one here. So just over the moon. We were in there about 27 seconds and we just treated it like a race. We knew it was going to be hard out the start, but once we were up, we just pushed away. And congratulations to you, Jade, for a good race too.
The Henley experience and winter preparation certainly paid off for Wits, improving on their 5th last year to take the Cambridge Rudder this year. UJ bowled 2nd, followed by Tucky, Stellenbosch and 2007 winners Rhodes. And the traditional post-race celebrations, plenty of swimming and a degree of drinking as well. Until we meet on the river next year, goodbye.
Proudly brought to you by Mutual and Federal.